Hi YouTube, it's me Monty, or you can call me Alternate if you prefer. And today I'm going to be doing a video on one of the most frequently asked questions that I get. Outside of like, how do you color? But I've already made a video on that, so if you are interested in learning my usual way of coloring, I have a video on that you can watch. So today I'm going to be making a video on how I stay inspired and how I don't get art block. Now, when I say I don't get art block, I don't mean I never get art block. If you're an artist, you're gonna get art block at some point in your life, but here's how I avoid it 9 times out of 10. By the way, sorry if I sound stuffy, I just had a chimichanga and I think I have like a slight dairy allergy because it always makes my asthma worse, so. My first and most obvious tip is to find media that inspires you. I'm sure you've heard this in every single how not to get art block video, but it's true. For me, it's music, but it could be anything. It could be TV shows, video games, movies. Hell, it could even be books if that's what gets you going. I find that, including myself, many artists, when they get art block, if they try and do anything else that isn't art, the whole time they're just sitting there thinking and feeling guilty, being like, man, I should be drawing right now. You know, like, why am I watching Bob's Burgers when I could be drawing right now? But don't feel guilty, because as artists, we naturally and obviously draw inspiration from things that inspire us, from other creatives. It's totally fine. I can't tell you how many characters and stories I've made because I was listening to a song and I was like, you know what? This kind of reminds me of this, and then that kind of reminds me of that, and then, you know, before I know it, I have like a whole like drawing idea in my head. But I know that one's very obvious, so if you're watching this video and if you've watched other videos, you've probably already tried that, so let's get on to the next tip. Personally, this is the one that works for me the most, and that is to work in a different style / experiment with your own style. So say you have like a very anime-esque style and you're like mostly an original character artist. Well, you sit down to draw your original characters and you just straight up cannot bring yourself to put that pencil to that paper. So what I want you to do is I want you to do some studies. I know that sounds so boring, but sometimes whenever I have art block and I want to go draw my OCs, I can't. And so I sit down and I do some studies of like anatomy, or I do some life drawings, or heck, sometimes I even go and I do some graphite or charcoal like semi-realism. Editing Monty here. I forgot to say that it doesn't have to be studies. You can just draw in a style that's different than what you normally draw. Just do something different, you know, just completely different than what you normally do. Sorry, I forgot. I get too passionate about studies. Okay, bye. I'll see you later. I will get so sucked into that. Like, it's unreal. Sometimes your brain just kind of gets bored of drawing like the same 5 OCs over and over again. It could be a different style, it could be a different medium, it could be just something just completely different from what you make. Like, you could just go out and make like little clay sculptures. Like, that could maybe be the thing that like just finally gets your brain being like, okay, I've gotten my diversity for the day. Now we can go back to drawing the things that you like to draw. Because at the end of the day, it's always good to get some practice in anyway. You know, it's always good to push your boundaries and, you know, just widen your range of art. My third tip is to go back to the basics. And what I mean by that is, if you're an artist who grew up in the digital age, chances are you probably looked up a how to draw manga video, or how to draw eyes video. You know, some stupid, really basic stuff like that. I want you to go back and watch that video or read that how to draw book and just go back to what got you inspired to draw in the first place. I'm like fixing my hair between every single tip. Okay, tip number 4. In case you haven't noticed, I like sketchbook tours. Could you believe it? So go on YouTube and maybe you have like a favorite art YouTuber who posts sketchbook tours. No, I swear I'm not self-promoting myself. Like, you don't have to watch my sketchbook tours, but if that's something that, you know, inspires you, because I've had a lot of people be like, hey, your sketchbook tours inspired me to draw in my own sketchbook. So if that's something that works for you, go to my sketchbook tours. I don't care. Just find an artist that you like or a genre of videos that you like and watch them. Like, for me personally, I like watching CalArts sketchbook tours. I'm too poor to ever go to CalArts. But a man can dream. I really do recommend looking up CalArt sketchbooks if you haven't, because the people who do those are incredibly talented, and that's what inspires my sketchbooks half the time. And last and least, this one's a little disappointing to hear, but if you've watched so many like how to get out of art block videos, and if you've watched this one and you've tried all the tips and all the tricks and all the hacks and you still are in art block, honestly, you could just need to take a break. I know that this sounds like really melodramatic and kind of dumb, but as artists, as creatives, doing something that is creative, it does take a lot of mental energy to do. I feel like as an artist, I'm giving myself too much credit, like, oh, art's really actually mentally taxing, but it is very mentally taxing. And so if you've gone through a period of doing just a butt ton of art, and you've been drawing every day, and then all of a sudden you can't draw anymore, and you're like, ah, man, I got art block, you're honestly probably just experiencing burnout, and you probably just need to take a few days or even a week to yourself to just, you know, chill out, man. If all else fails, you just need to take a break. It's okay to take a break from art sometimes. On the contrary, if you are one of those people who's been in art block for like months and you're like, I don't need a break, just force yourself to draw. I mean, honestly, just force yourself to draw at that point. I'm not one for advocating for forcing yourself to draw, but I'm not gonna lie, I force myself to draw all the time, and it does get me out of art block a lot. So while that's not a whole tip in and of itself, because I don't really recommend that to anyone unless you absolutely have to, or you're irresponsible like me, it's still an option. Alright, well, this video was relatively short, but I hope you did like it, and I hope that my really stuffy and congested voice didn't bother you too much. I tried putting in tips that personally work for me and tips that I don't see a lot in other artists' art block videos. So maybe some of these will help, maybe not. If they did, leave a comment down below. If they didn't, leave a comment down below. You can do what you want to do, really. Thank you for watching this YouTube video. Give it a thumbs up if you want. And if you didn't like it, give it a thumbs up still. Alright, I will see you in the next one. Hopefully I don't take a month to release it. Say bye to the camera, sissy. Bye-bye.